Hi, so we're going to talk about accessing arrays, and let's see how we can get data from arrays. So first of all, let's create the simple array. So we'll just say let my array be equals to, and maybe let's just use numbers. So 50 and 60, 70, and 80. So now we have an array, and if we console log that out, let's log it out that way, save, and now we can see we have the array which specifies 50, 60, 70, 80, and we can see how it is. Well, let's take notice of these numbers by the left. These are actually the indexes. So we have at the 0 index, which is the first entry, or the first data or value, that's 50, and the 1 index is the second, the 2 index is the third, and the 3 index is the fourth. So we can use the indexes to access the information or data within arrays. So in this case, let's assume that we want to get the second data from the array. So what we need to do simply is to specify my array, which is already in our console log, and we need to use the square brackets just like we did when we were trying to access string characters, and we just basically put the index 1, and if we save that, now we can see we have 60, which is the second entry. And let's assume we want the fourth entry, and save. Now it's undefined. Why? Because we only have indexes of 0, 1, 2, and 3. So this 4 doesn't specify the entry, it actually specifies the index. So this is 4 index, and which means that is going to be the 5th entry. So in this case, we instead want to put 3, which is the 4th entry, and now we have 80 here. So let's talk about multi-dimensional arrays. Let's see how that plays out when we have multi-dimensional arrays. And I'm going to create one here, and let me call that I'm just saying my ARR. And remember, we need a square bracket to create the array, and the first entry I'm going to put in is just a simple 1, 2, 3. The second, remember we need to separate them by commas. The second entry I'm going to have is simply 4, 5, 6, comma, and the third entry I'm going to have is 7, 8, 9, comma, and we need a fourth entry. The fourth entry I'm going to put is going to be a multi-dimensional array itself. So I'll create the array there, and I'm going to within it create another array, and I'm going to say 10, 11, 12, and maybe let me just put other values like 13 and 14 and 15. So now we have our array. Let me save that. You can see my editor arranged it in a very in a better form, and that's complete. So we now need to access data from this array, and we're going to try. Let me just console log this first. Just log it out on the console, and my array, save, and now we can see where it specifies the array, and if we open it, it shows the values in the array, and we can see the third index, and we can see it contains another array, and it contains 3 values, and open that array has 3 values itself. So let's try and fetch data from this, and the first one we're going to try is to see if we can get the array of index 2. So I'm going to use square bracket and put 2. And what do we have here? 7, 8, 9. Why? Because this is the 0 index, which is the first value. Then this is the 1 index with second value, and this is the 2 index with third value. So index 2 will definitely give us this. So now let's access this. So what do you think we'll put here? Definitely it will be 3, because this is going to be index 3, and that's why we have this selected. And what if I want to get 0 index and I want to get the second value in that? So all I need to do is put 0 here and put another square bracket, and I'm going to be 1, which is the second value. And what do I have? 2. So it's taking the 0 index and taking the second value, which is the 1 index. Now let me try that for this third value, which is the 2 index. So I'm going to put 2 index, and maybe I want to get the third value in it, and that will be 2 index. And save, and now we have 9. That's what we have here. So let's try that for this third one. Let me get this array that is here. What do you think it should be? Definitely we'll have the 3 index, because it's 0, 1, 2, and 3, and the first value, which is the array, is going to be 0. So it's 3, 0, and that's why we have this 10, 11, 12. And what if we want to get the 15, the last value? So it's just the same thing. We'll have 3 index, because it's the fourth value of the my array, and within that array, that's the array of this fourth value, we have it as the fourth value. So we can mention that 3 and save, and now we have 15. So that's basically it. We can access values from array just by using the index positions. So let's try the task. Let's see how we can do that. So first one says, let my array be 50, 60, 70. Create a variable called my data and set it to equal the first value of my array using bracket notation. So let's copy this one out. We bring that here, and we need to create the array called the value, called my data, and we put that here, and we say my data is now equals to, and now we need to copy my array, and we need to specify the value we want to get out, and it says the first value of my array, and the first value is definitely going to be of index 0. So if we save that, there's no value outputted because we have to console log that out. So let me just do that, copy that. Let me just say my data here. So save that, and now we can see 50, which is the first value of my array. So that's solved. So number 2, it says let my array be equals to this, and said using bracket notation, select an element from my array such that my data is equals to 8. So let's copy that out, put it here, and now we need to get my data to be equals to 8. So I'll say let and my data be equals to my array, and now I'm going to specify the position of 8. So where do we have 8? We have 8 here in the middle, and this is from the array itself, index 2. So we're going to put 2 in there because that's the index 2 position of this array. Then within the array we have 8 as an index 1, so we're going to have 1 there, and save. Nothing. Let's log that out on the console. So my data, and save, and now we have 8. So we've been able to solve that. So that's the easy way to access data from the arrays.